Hi everybody, Dan Illman, Mike Beer taking a look at the feature race at Gulfstream Park on Saturday. It's the Grade 2 Inside Information Stakes for fillies and mares going 7 furlongs. Check out this offer for DRF Bets members. Double your action when you sign up for a DRF Bets account. Bet 100, get 100 at bets.drf.com. Here's the field for race number 11 at beautiful Gulfstream on Saturday. Mike, the morning line favorite is the number 6, Tequilita. And I like her turning back to the 7 furlong distance. I've always felt that this is her best distance. Let's discuss her performance most recently in the Grade 3 Royal Delta, a race in which I thought John Velasquez could have been a little bit more aggressive coming out of the gate. It looked like there were two speeds, Blamed and Tequilita. Blamed had inside position, Blamed was forward, Johnny V decided to take back, and then Blamed was able to control the pace.
Yeah, I agree with all that stuff. I mean, I don't think she ran maybe her best race in there, but they just could have, that race sort of laid out exactly the way that it was run on paper, where you knew Blamed, if she got to the front, was going to be tough to beat, and it felt like Johnny V was the only one who could have stopped her from doing that. He decided not to. Maybe it cost her at the end. I'm with you. I think 7 furlongs probably better for her. And listen, I think she deserves to be the morning line favorite in this race. I think she's going to be really tough to beat with her best race. I don't know that you always get her best race. That's something that concerns me a little bit. But if she shows up, she's supposed to be tough in here.
And with her tactical speed and outside post position, Saez, who was aboard for the graded stakes win at Gulfstream 2 starts back, has some options. And I think he's going to park himself just off of the 2 speeds in this race, likely to be the 2 America's Tail, the 7 Razorback Lady. We'll see if the Timeform US Pace Projector agrees with that assessment. And they do have the 7 and the 2 leading, and that could put Tequilita in a good spot. Let's begin talking about America's Tail, who has utilized the turf to dirt move very successfully in the past for a sharp trainer in Bernie Flint. This horse has won her last 3 dirt outings, all when getting kind of loose on the lead. Razorback Lady may not have America's Tail's resume, so to speak, but she might be fast enough to keep America's Tail company.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see what happens here, because America's Tail feels like the better horse of those two, but it, you know, the other horse, having Razorback Lady here, could just really affect America's Tail, because she just seems like she really wants to be loose on the lead in here. And if she doesn't get loose, you know, how much does that really affect her? The 7 furlongs feels like it's going to be a fine distance for her. Her last 3 dirt races are all good. I don't have any knocks on any of them, but she was just in control early in all of those. And if that doesn't happen here, you know, does that really work against her? I think there's a chance that it does.
Razorback Lady passed a nice test last time out when stretching out to 7 furlongs for the first time. She was part of a hot pace, if you believe the Timeform US Pace ratings. And while Andy Beyer only gave this horse a 76, Timeform US was way more charitable, putting her around the 113 mark.
Right.
If Razorback Lady sort of forces America's Tail into a stalking spot, that seems unlikely, or if she is faster somehow out of the gate, if Timeform US believes, maybe she could steal away or at least get a piece at a price.
Yeah, I mean, you would think that they're going to be on the send here and try and make the front with her, and if she does, I suppose that could make her dangerous. Obviously, when you're talking about the Timeform US figure that she got last time, which was a big one, they're factoring in the paces of those races, so they're going to bump up her figure, and they did. You know, we'll see what happens. Is she going to be able to clear here? Is America's Tail really going to be content? Just let this horse take the lead? I don't know how that's all going to play out, but if she clears early, that gives her a much better chance to win this race.
If the pace is fast, it could set up for the Mexican-bred sensation, the number 1 Hala Hala, who's won 13 of 24 and had a 5-race win streak snapped when second in the Royal Delta. It looked like she was moving really sweetly on the far turn. She got to Blamed, and she just kind of flattened out a little bit in the end. All in all, for her first sort of real true test in her career, I thought she passed it.
Yeah, I thought she ran pretty well in that race too. I mean, she had her shot at that race, just couldn't get to Blame. Just really from the quarter pole to the finish, just couldn't make up any ground on that horse. But she ran well. She tried the entire way. Now they're going to cut her back again to go a shorter distance. I guess based on what she's done in Mexico, that shouldn't be a real problem for her. But I wonder, does cutting back to 7 furlongs this race, does it help her or does it hurt her? I'm not so sure.
Let's talk about a couple of formulator fact horses before we get to our top picks, beginning with Pacific Gayle. And John Kimmel's having a sensational meet at Gulfstream Park. And over the past 3 years, with horses aged 4-year-olds on dirt returning from a 45 45 to 60-day layoff, Kimball's winning at 30% with a $2.63 ROI. Pacific Gayle had a nice 3-wide trip last time out in the Hurricane Birdie, loomed boldly in the stretch, and then was second best to a good one in Dream Pauline. She's been big prices against Dream Pauline in her last two, and has got to be happy that she won't be seeing that one on Saturday.
Yeah, hit the board in both of those races at big prices. You know, we'll see. I actually like this horse a little bit. I just feel like, you know, even though she ran the new top figure last time, the 91, I don't know about that. I mean, she was really no match for Dream Pauline that day. And outside of that race, she's really not that competitive based on her other races in here. I don't think I would be taking her at a shorter price this time.
I've always been a fan, but do you get the feeling that even though she hasn't won on a wet track, she might actually prefer those wet surfaces?
Yeah, she does really handle a wet track. That's a good point.
Let's talk a little bit about Karen, because you and I have both been fans of Karen, and she closed out her 4-year-old campaign with a win at Laurel at this 7-furlong distance. She had to work a little harder than I thought she needed to win, but she got it done. And Graham, motion over the past 5 years with older horses returning off 4 to 6 month layoffs on dirt is winning at a 25% clip with almost a $4 ROI. Now the thing with Karen is, and she has run some nice races, she needs some pace.
Yeah, she really does. She's going to need this race to set up her way. I mean, based on, you know, having those two horses in here, America's Tail and Razorback Lady, I mean, maybe she will get the right setup in this spot. I like her as a horse. I think if she gets the right trip, she will be a factor in this race. I went a different way with my top selection, but I could see using this horse.
Let's talk about our top selections for the Grade 2 Inside Information, and we'll begin with Mike's top pick, that being Pink Sands, going out for Shug McGahee. And again, this looks like that typical Shug horse, right? Gets a little older, gets a little bit more mature, and all of a sudden starts running better and better races. This horse has some more tactical speed than some of the others we've discussed, most notably Karen and Hala Hala, and her buyers are creeping forward. It seems she likes Gulfstream.
She's just getting better with racing. She's a filly who started out with some potential early on. I feel like it took her a while just to put everything together, but it feels like maybe she's starting to do that now. Last time when they went the mile with her off of a little bit of a layoff, they did keep her closer in that race, and I think that just had more to do with the pace. They weren't going a fast pace in there. Jose Ortiz did the right thing. He kept her in the game, and she managed to drive it down at the end. I liked that performance. I liked her effort two-back a lot better. She got outrun a little bit by a pace in that race, and I think that's probably her best style, Dan. Take her back, let her make one run going about this distance, and that's when she runs her best races. She really signaled, I thought, the turnaround 3-back when she was second to Electric Force. There really wasn't that much going on in there. She made a nice run into that race. I just think she's getting better and better with those two speeds in here. Maybe it sets up the right way for her and she can take one more step forward.
We usually like turnbacks in 7-furlong races, but my main concern, and I think the concern of most folks that are fans of the 8 Teresa Z, is that the connections are basically using this sprint race as a springboard to longer down the road. She looked good, I thought, winning the turnback The Alarm last time out as the favorite, going 9 furlongs, and she beat a wet track lover and Forever Liesel in doing it. That was a nice performance, and she wasn't embarrassed in the Beldame, maybe not the greatest Beldame in the world, but she actually ran quite fine that day. It is worth noting that her best races have come going longer, but she's a racehorse. She seems to show up each and every time, and I have a feeling from a talent perspective, she's as good as anybody in this race. The question is she ready? She's 3-1 on the morning line. That's too light for me. Maybe she drifts a bit.
Yeah, it all depends on price, I suppose. And then it's just a question that you have to ask yourself, are they just prepping her here to get her a race, or are they really trying to win this? I don't know the answer to that, but I would be inclined at 3-1 to just say, you know what, this isn't really her game right now, and they're looking for a longer race down the road. I just wouldn't take her at that price.
Mike is going 5. Let me get those numbers.
That's 6, 8.
6, 2, 8. And I'm going 8, 3, 2, and 1 in the Grade 2 Inside Information Stakes. Race number 11 at Gulfstream Park. Make sure to bet it with a DRF Bets account. When you sign up, you're rewarded immediately with double the action. You bet 100, you get 100 with DRF Bets. As easy as ready, set, bet. An approximate post time for the Inside Information, 5:37 Eastern. Good luck.